Check 4. Test. Good evening. Welcome to the Buncombe County Board of Education regular meeting. This is the regular meeting. I'd like for you to note that Mr. Queen is joining us via Zoom, and we will do a roll call vote to vote. I am seeking approval of the agenda. Could I get a motion to approve?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Could I get a second?
Second.
And my roll call paper is, I don't know where. So I will call your name as I look at you. Peggy Buchanan?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Amanda. Amy?
Aye.
Cindy? They're all doing this because they know that I am so terrible at remembering. And Mr. Queen?
Aye.
And Ann Franklin. They're all giving me the dickens because I can look at them, but I don't call them the right name. I apologize. At this time, we'll have a virtual presentation of the colors. Pledge of Allegiance from Irwin High School. These people are instructed by Chief Tony Gutierrez, CW3 Army retired, First Sergeant Chad Pravitt, Army retired, and Command Sergeant Major Richard Carland, Army retired. Would you please rise?
Color guard, attention. Carry, colors, forward, march. Mark time, march. Color guard, halt. Present, colors.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America,
And to the republic,
for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all.
Order, colors, left, face, forward, march.
I ask that you remain standing for a moment of silence. You may be seated. At this time, I'm going to ask for our attorney to explain public comment.
Madam Chair, thank you. So this evening, no one is signed up for public comment under the board's rules and regulations. This board does have a public comment available at each of its regular meetings for members of the public. The rules are well published with speakers coming in and having an allotted amount of time to be able to address the board. And we did have some individuals this evening that came that wanted to address the board, but they clearly communicated multiple times that they would not follow any of the rules and regulations provided by the board, and they did not sign up for public comment. So you've made public comment available, but it was not taken advantage of by any citizens this evening.
You want me to do the action agenda first? And then do the superintendent's comments? Now I want to recognize our superintendent for his comments.
I'd like to begin by recognizing some key staff members for their leadership in this afternoon's public presentation of the 2021-22 Comprehensive Budget Plan. First, thanks to Mr. Huff, to Tina Thorpe, to Clark Wyatt, to Tim Fairley, Barry Pace, Carol Fay, Greg Hensley, and all the principals that served on our capital outlay budget team. I want to name them. That's Meg Turner, Ben Alexander, April Wright, and Jason Miller. The total list of submitted capital project requests represented a total of $129 million in cost. So just to give you an idea of the job that this team had in front of them, from that list, a $13,335,513 budget was finalized. The board also received a facility needs report from Mr. Fearley that predicted our school building and campus needs based on projected enrollment patterns and planned housing development around the county. On the operating budget front, a huge thank you to Deborah Frisbee and her staff for putting together the PowerPoint, also to be shared with our county commissioners next week. And once again, the local budget request concentrates on 4 non-negotiable increases to be determined within the final state budget. These are state-approved salary increases for certified and classified employees, as well as rate increase costs for health insurance and retirement. While the state allocates dollars to cover increases for all state-paid staff, this request allows equitable recognition for the 714 locally paid employees across our school district. A unique component to our operating budget this year centered around the $70 million of federal funds to be used for COVID recovery. These ESSER dollars can be allocated and distributed over a 2 or 3 year timeline. Thanks go out to Mrs. Swanger, Mrs. Reed, and Mrs. Robinson, along with a large group of stakeholders, including district directors, school administrators, teachers, parents, and students who dedicated their time and efforts in developing a comprehensive plan. I understand that over 500 stakeholders provided some type of input in preparing this federal application to distribute allocations. While the ESSER funds are intended to be used to recover from the effects of COVID, and that's especially on the academic and social emotional health of students, is a significant recovery that will begin on June 14th as our summer school learning and enrichment program begins. Another round of appreciation to Ms. Swanger, Ms. Reed, and Ms. Robinson, along with the district leadership team for creating our plan that was recently approved by the state. You will be hearing more about this plan later within the agenda. We are in the home stretch of officially completing the current school year. EOG testing in reading, math, and science begins on May 18th for grades 3 through 8. End of course testing, high school exams start May 25th. In-person testing is required by the state for all mandated assessments. Schools will be working with families and have already begun that process to schedule our remote-only students. May 31st, which is Memorial Day, is an optional teacher work day, and June 1st is the last student day, and it's also an early dismissal. The majority of graduation ceremonies will be Saturday, June 5th. Ceremonies, and I'm going to say this twice, will be in person following all required COVID protocol. Graduation ceremonies will be in person following all required COVID protocol. Doesn't that have a nice ring to it when we think back on last year? And to that end, a very important note. Thank you, Buncombe County school teachers, and we have a number of them here with us tonight. We want to thank you for all that you do to provide such incredible support to our students and school communities. This is National Teacher Appreciation Week, and I want to encourage all of our stakeholders throughout the Buncombe County school community to take some time and recognize a teacher. If COVID has clearly demonstrated one thing, it is the critical role that teachers play in providing not only the foundation for student academic learning, but a strong supportive role in fostering our students' social and emotional health. This has been such an extremely challenging year for all of us, but especially so for our teachers who have been asked to maintain the highest quality of instruction while ensuring continued positive engagement with their students and parents, and in the process, face continuous change and transition that in many cases came on very short notice. Again, thank you, Buncombe County school teachers, for your dedication, your perseverance, and your outstanding professional service throughout this entire year of COVID, a year unlike no other. And that concludes my comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Baldwin. I am sorry, but we need to call for a 5-minute recess here to do some, thank you. We're in a recess. All right, we will continue with our meeting with a good news section. And I believe, if I'm correct, this is Ms. Harris that's going to report to us.
It is, hello everyone. Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Baldwin, members of the board. For this first piece of good news, I'd like to welcome Dr. Vanessa Wren and Barry Pace to the podium. There, someone else there. Dr. Wren is with NCDCI, and she's the Director of the Division of Digital Technology and Learning. And she's here today to help us recognize Barry Pace, who is still hiding.
There he is. Just let you know, Mr. Pace, Stacia Harris is in charge.
Barry Pace is the North Carolina Technology Director of the Year, and Dr. Rand is here to help us recognize Mr. Pace. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Ms. Harris. Well, I am absolutely delighted to be here tonight, and I picked a fantastic night to come from Raleigh and visit with you, and I'm really thrilled to be here anytime. But what a good evening to be here. But it is just my pleasure to help you honor our State Technology Director of the Year for 2021, Mr. Barry Pace. I have to tell you that this award is extremely competitive. It recognizes the state's top technology leader who has a transformative practice and broad impact. Each candidate is nominated and voted on by their regional peers, and they complete a vigorous selection process, not unlike a Principal of the Year or a Teacher of the Year process. The winner is selected based on their demonstrated accomplishments in innovation, curriculum and instruction, professional learning, and overall impact. And one thing that I've learned after 20-something years in education is leaders don't only look out for their own areas of responsibility, but they seek to assist, influence, and guide all those around them to the greater good. And Barry has modeled this consistently over the years. He openly shares his experiences with all. And not only does he lead here in Buncombe County, but he's a model for the entire state. He is always willing to share information, has an uncanny ability to see clearly the big picture, and also positively impact everyone around him. So, Dr. Baldwin, this truly has been a year like none other, and we have certainly seen what our educators can do, and we've seen what our technology staffs can do, and the tremendous efforts that Barry has done here in Buncombe to make this year a little smoother. And I'm not ashamed to say that I do have Barry Pace on speed dial. So Barry will move on to represent North Carolina on the national level, and he will be submitted for the Withrow Chief Technology Officer of the Year candidate, and that is awarded annually. And so we would like to look forward to that occurring in March. So I am honored to call Barry a colleague and a friend. So thank you, Barry.
Do you want to say a speech, Barry? You want to say a few words?
Oh,
Nice.
Thank you, Dr. Rand. That was a wonderful and very kind communication. And when you take a position like this, you want to create conditions that allow transformations to take place. And boy, oh boy, have we transformed. It has been an amazing year. But the first thing you have to do when you want to create that condition is surround yourself with great people. And I have the greatest staff. They are amazing, and I can't say enough about them and how wonderful they all are. Mr. Robert Frisbee, Assistant Director in the back producing this board meeting, and the digital learning team, the low voltage team, Scott Emery, right here on the camera, one of the best electricians in the state, and a wonderful low voltage supervisor. The network team keeping us safe, the field techs and the wonderful job they do connecting hotspots and connecting with families. This is an honor, and I just want to shower some of this on my staff because they're incredible, and it's an honor. Thank you.
Well, Wednesday was National School Nurse Day, and we want to turn things over now to David Thompson. He is the Director of Student Services. He's going to help us recognize our school nurses who've taken on a number of new responsibilities as we navigate a global pandemic. So if Mr. Thompson and April Bauer could come onto the podium, and our other nurse managers, you guys can stand in the middle.
Good evening, Dr. Baldwin, Madam Chair, and members of the board. While this has truly been an understatement to say that this has been a challenging year, marked by uncertainty, chronic stress, deep concerns for the safety of and well-being of our students, our families, and community. And we know that there have been many heroes, including our teachers that we've recognized tonight for Teacher Appreciation Week. But there is no group that deserves more recognition for their dedication and their support of the Buncombe County Schools family and our community than our school nurses during the School Appreciation Month, and especially on next Wednesday, May 12th, for School Nurse Appreciation Day. The school nurse roles this year have been constantly changing and becoming more intense as the year went on. From the very beginning, through our planning and through our initial implementation, our nurses were present and working with us to coordinate our screening and exclusion process to ensure safety, while taking on the training and support for a multitude of school CNAs who assisted each of our schools in making sure that our students were supervised, excluded, and screened. During the remote learning process, they were outsourced then back to our Department of Health and Human Services and took on case investigation and many other duties related to COVID and public safety. They used the skills that they learned during this time and brought that back to take on the massive job of case investigation for both our student and staff COVID cases, working with us closely to make sure that we have identified, isolated, and kept our schools safe and secure. And then this fabulous group of health and care providers trained to do the in-school COVID testing and response. So again, taking on more and more duties throughout the year. All of this was on top of their regular school nurse duties to support our students with other chronic illnesses that are not COVID related, develop health care plans, monitor the required immunizations, and ensure that we have staff trained to support all of those students. With us tonight is April Bauer, their lead school nurse, and our three school nurse managers, two of our three school nurse managers, Angie Wilson and Tamara Garland, and Julie Berger is the other one. I know we recognize her while I'm here. I'm proud to work with them closely and invite you to join me in showing your appreciation for them and their important profession.
And we'll have you guys get together for a photo. Dr. Baldwin, Madam Chair. Do you want to? I'll just have her grab it. All right, for our final good news item of the evening, could Miss Deborah Frisbee, our Chief Finance Officer, come on down? So finally tonight, we would like to recognize Ms. Frisbee, our CFO. She is retiring this year from Buncombe County Schools, and we wanted to take a few minutes to thank her for her years of service in public education. And for this one, I'm going to turn things over to Dr. Baldwin, and you can speak from there, speak from the podium.
Very few things beyond something about COVID and how it's impacted my day as superintendent pops me up at night or keeps me up at night. But the one thing that trumped any issue with COVID was when Deborah Frisbee walked in my office and told me she's going to retire. And that was not only losing sleep, that was the origin of nightmares. Deborah Frisbee, just like all of our chief finance officers across this state, school finance officers, live in a world of numbers. I bet you if Deborah was honest with us, she'd tell you that what pops her up at night are numbers in her head. I hope that's not the case, but I got a feeling it is. That said, for the past 7 years, how incredibly fortunate Buncombe County Schools has been to have our Chief Finance Officer, a person who has that perfect blend of understanding the numbers any way, shape, or form, but is able to combine that with just incredible good people skills. I've never met a principal in this school system that has told me any other thing than, after visiting her office, she made numbers so simple to me. She made the finances so simple. She was there to help me when I needed it. I was not intimidated. And in the world of finance, I can promise you superintendents can get intimidated pretty fast. But what a treasure she has been. We wish her the very best in her retirement. But we're going to miss you, and we love you, and you're always part of our family, Deborah.
Thank you, Dr. Baldwin. Try to maintain my composure here. I am truly honored to have worked for Buncombe County Schools. I don't know if many people know this, but I started my career in finance with Buncombe County Schools back in the 80s when I was 5. And I started in the payroll department. And then I got married and left and worked for another district, and then I came back here, and I feel like I have come full circle. And I am just honored and privileged for the opportunity to work with such a wonderful group of people,
my finance team back there, shame on y'all for staying. And the board, Madam Chair, the Board of Education, the legal counsel, district leadership, school administrators, everybody. It has just been a wonderful opportunity. I am forever, ever grateful for this opportunity and very humbled and honored. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
Left the building, please note that I'm keeping my mask on because I'm breaching the 6 foot of spacing. But that said, just first off, flowers.
Thank you.
To thank you, to let you know how much we love you, and a memento in terms of a clock, because how can we get away from Father Time, right?
That's right.
Especially in this business.
That's right.
So thank you, thank you, thank you, and I know Ben's ready for pictures.
I want to make another comment. This group back here and those in finance that are here in spirit, not in person, they are fabulous. It's like Barry said, you surround yourself with great people. They are top-notch, best of the best. So thank you all. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all. All right, we have Ms. Christie, Dr. Baldwin, Madam Chair. Come to the middle. Let's do a quick picture of the three of them.
Stuck in the middle.
See that smile in your eyes, right here. In 3, 2, 1. Couple more. 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. Congratulations.
Do you want to tell Madam Chair that that concludes good news? You want that to be your job since you're here? No, I'll do it, okay. Are you sure? Okay.
Isn't it interesting that it's only one man?
And that concludes good news for this evening.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you. Suzanne, it's time for the curriculum feature.
Madam Chair, Dr. Baldwin, members of the board, tonight I have the pleasure of talking about nationally board certified teachers. Nothing warms our heart more than to recognize our teachers for participating in a very rigorous process that transforms teaching, and our learners benefit so greatly. It's a challenging process, but it gives teachers such tools to move forward in their profession to enhance learning. I want to introduce Laura Meyer. She is one of our wonderful, outstanding secondary instructional coaches, and in addition to supporting high school teachers, she also reaches out and supports and mentors any teacher going through the National Board Certification process. It's a rigorous process, and to have someone committed as she is to mentor others certainly makes us a winning district. And Stacia, I don't remember what national rank we are, 17, 18? In the nation for the number of nationally board certified teachers, and it's because of the family and the support that we give and our wonderful teachers. Laura?
Good evening. I've been honored to serve as our district's National Board Support Coordinator for 20 years. It doesn't get old, though. Every year, I am more and more inspired by the amazing group of educators that we honor tonight as we recognize our latest class of new and renewed MBCTs. National Board Certification, like Ms. Wonger said, is rigorous. It's a 1 to 5 year process that empowers teachers to use the latest evidence-based practices for making their classrooms more engaging and impactful. With a total of 622 MBCTs, Buncombe County Schools does rank 18th in the nation for the number of National Board Certified teachers. Furthermore, we've been named one of the very first National Board Accomplished districts, with more than 20% of our teachers holding this advanced teaching credential. Teachers who attempt the National Board process are in a constant state of goal setting, evidence gathering, reflection, and revision. This evidence-based cycle ensures that every candidate grows professionally. Perhaps most importantly, National Board Certification is about equity. Every child deserves an accomplished teacher. Every student needs a teacher who appreciates diversity and facilitates an inclusive environment where students feel safe to take risks, to be heard, to learn, and to grow. National Board candidates must provide evidence and meet standards that prove they have established this environment in their classrooms. During a worldwide pandemic, this journey has been particularly challenging. The teachers that we honor tonight and their peers currently going through the board process have contended with multiple schedule changes, hybrid lesson planning, and sometimes heartbreaking student needs, all while aligning their practice with the National Board standards and requirements. Now, the National Board has helped this year with deadlines and format considerations during COVID, but it has made clear that it will not lower standards and expectations of student engagement and impact towards certification. Buncombe County teachers, as always, have risen to the challenge. The names of this year's new and newly renewed MBCTs will be on the screen. Let's hear from some of them as they discuss their National Board journey.
Our students deserve the absolute best, and obtaining my National Board certification has allowed me to be an advocate for every single student in my classroom, no matter what their learning needs may be.
Getting to know our students, to be able to set high goals for them and give the instruction that they need, has helped me help my students find that growth for themselves and achieve new things.
The whole process forces you to look at your teaching practice really closely.
As educators, we make thousands of decisions every day on how to best show up for our students, whether it's in person, online, or both.
By passing my national boards, it made me realize that I am capable of doing hard things and of making growth and of making changes.
The process has absolutely been worth the intrinsic and extrinsic rewards.
It was very difficult to do, but I am glad that I did it.
What I learned was it's worth it.
It was a big deal. Everybody should do it.
Hello, I'm Rachel Reeves, a brand new National Board Certified teacher. Congratulations to each of you who are also newly certified. And congratulations to everyone who's renewed. I hope you take a moment to really give yourself credit for what you've done and allow yourself to celebrate your amazing accomplishment. I know it wasn't easy, and I know it was a risk. I know you sacrificed time with your own families, and I know you spent many a long night up late dissecting the tiniest details of your students' work. And you still showed up to school the next day, smile on your face, ready to give 100% to your students. But you did it. In addition to that amazing feeling of success that I hope you are feeling right now, you have also given a remarkable gift to your students, to our community. Research has shown that students of National Board Certified teachers demonstrate evidence of deeper learning nearly 3 times more frequently than that of their peers. And students of National Board Certified teachers gain 1 to 2 months of additional learning compared to their peers in other classrooms. You have taken that extra step to ensure that you are the absolute best teacher you can be for your students. The process of achieving board certification was like nothing I've ever experienced before. It's rigorous, it's demanding, and there are zero shortcuts. If you've achieved board certification, you've proved with irrefutably strong evidence the impact of your instruction on students. I've always been a teacher committed to strong professional growth, but the national board process gave me something that I did not have before. An analytical lens to dissect every single instructional decision that I make, and then the ability to follow through with that instructional decision to its end result, impact on individual student learning. Once you have that lens of national boards, it doesn't go away. I still find myself using that lens to really see each of my students and decide what instruction they need moving forward. I am constantly motivated to be my best teaching self by the fantastic educators down my hall, in my building, and the teachers I get to meet from other schools around the county. I feel so lucky to teach in a county full of inspiring educators. Some of you are still working on your national boards, some of you who have certified, and some of you who have chosen your own professional journeys. In fact, it's all of these teachers that have encouraged me to go on my own national board journey. Congratulations again to all the fantastic educators around Buncombe County schools who can now call themselves National Board Certified Teachers.
Next item on the agenda is the action agenda. The first item is the 2020-2021 budget amendment with Ms. Frisbee. Are there questions from board members?
Madam Chair, I feel like I should ask a bunch of questions since it's maybe one of my last chances, but I don't have any.
You are saved by the bell. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Pat Bryant.
Aye.
Amy Churchill.
Aye.
Amanda Simpkins.
Aye.
Max Queen.
Aye.
Cindy McMahon.
Aye.
Peggy Buchanan.
Aye.
Ann Franklin. The next item is the approval of funding requests for current expense and capital appropriations and submission of the 2021-2022 preliminary budget to the county commissioners. And that's also Ms. Frisbee. Are you going to do that too?
I'll be glad to support.
Okay. Are there questions from the board for Ms. Frisbee or Dr. Baldwin?
Do we have the revised version?
Sorry.
Do we have the revised version? I have so many pieces of paper now.
I know. Well, I have
I don't
enough
know if I
paper
have
up
it.
here to start a library. Work session folder.
Okay.
So I'm currently looking to approve funding request for the current expense and capital appropriation and submission for 2021-22 preliminary budget to the county commissioners as it was amended in the work session today.
Madam Chair, I'd make that motion.
Thank you very much. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call. Pat Bryant.
Aye.
Churchill.
Aye.
Amanda Simpkins.
Aye.
Max Queen.
Aye.
McMahon.
Aye.
Peggy Buchanan.
Aye.
Ann Franklin. Next item. North Buncombe High School use of capital outlay athletic allotment. Tiffany McCants and a school representative. I believe that might be Sam Searcy. And are there questions from the board on this item? Hearing none, I would, let's see, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
So moved.
And a second by Max. Roll call. Pat Bryant.
Aye.
Amy Churchill.
Aye.
Amanda Simpkins.
Aye.
Max Queen.
Aye.
Cindy McMahon.
Aye.
Peggy Buchanan.
Aye.
Ann Franklin. Now, the next item on the agenda has been revised as well, And I'm going to call on our attorney to speak, as well as with Clark Wyatt on this item.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Board members, the item that you have before you is approval of a mechanical upgrade and award for that contract at Valley Springs Middle School. The low bidder, when you take into account the base bid and the alternates that were selected by your administration, is Hickory Construction. The total amount of that contract is $6,534,433. The action before you tonight that is revised is for you to actually approve this in two phases. The first phase is $2,113,820. That will be funded through Article 39 funds. And then the second phase of this contract award will be in the amount of $4,420,613. So $4,420,613, the remainder of the contract. That is in a phase two because, as you heard in your work session this evening, that money comes from the ESSER funding from the federal government. And for Ms. Frisbee to be able to pre-audit certify a contract, you must be in the receipt of funds. So those funds are anticipated to come to the school district in June. This will allow the contractor to go ahead and get started on phase one, and then phase two of the contract can be pre-audit certified after you receive those ESSER funds. So that is the reason for the two phases. But again, Hickory Construction is the low bidder based on the scope of work approved by your administration.
Thank you. Mr. Wyatt, do you have things you want to say? What?
Would you like me to read the new recommendation, Madam Chair?
Sure.
Okay, the new recommendation then, as amended, award a two-phase contract for construction of the Valley Springs Middle School mechanical upgrade in the amount of $6,534,433 to Hickory Construction. Authorize execution of the Phase 1 contract funded through Article 39 funds upon receipt of bonds and insurance in the amount of $2,113,822, and authorize execution of Phase 2 of the contract upon receipt of the ESSER 2 funds in the amount of $4,420,613.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Hearing none, then I would entertain a motion to approve this item as amended.
So moved.
Thank you.
And I'll second.
Sorry?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Did you get that? When they talk, I can't understand. All right, here we go. It's time to vote. Pat Bryant?
Aye.
Amy Churchill?
Aye.
Amanda Simpkins?
Aye.
Max Queen?
Aye.
Cindy McMahon?
Aye.
Peggy Buchanan?
Aye.
And Franklin. The next item on the agenda is the authorization to issue a request for qualifications RFQ at W.D. Williams Elementary Architect and Construction Manager at Risk, Seymour. And are there questions from the board on this item? This is an item that we received information on at the work session today.
And I'd like to just, again, say that how much I appreciated today's work session, because it did clear up a lot of things, and so I do appreciate the attention to detail that was given during that work session.
Staff did an excellent job for us today.
They did.
Yes.
Especially with the high priority needs. I just can't imagine trying to whittle all of that down.
Sure, sure. So I could entertain a motion to approve.
So moved,
So
Madam Chair.
moved.
Thank you. And I get a second. I believe that was from Max. And here we
Yes.
go again. Pat Bryant?
Aye.
Amy Churchill?
Aye.
Amanda Simpkins?
Aye.
Max Queen?
Aye.
Cindy McMahon?
Aye.
Peggy Buchanan?
Aye.
And Franklin. Next item, authorization of lottery application and security initiative. Are there questions for Mr. Fearley from the board? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. A second? Hello?
Second.
Simpkins, seconded.
Thank you. A roll call. Pat Bryant?
Aye.
Amy Churchill?
Aye.
Amanda Simpkins?
Aye.
Max Queen?
Aye.
Cindy McMahon?
Aye.
Peggy Buchanan?
Aye.
And Franklin. Next item, 2021 academic summer school plans. Suzanne and Tanya Robinson, are there questions for these people from the board? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
That was Amanda. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call. Pat Bryant?
Aye.
Amy Churchill?
Aye.
Amanda Simpkins?
Aye.
Max Queen?
Aye.
Cindy McMahon?
Aye.
Peggy Buchanan?
Aye.
Ann Franklin.
Madam Chair, this is another opportunity to say thank you to our staff. I think especially Tanya Robinson, who has taken the lead on this process, as I understand, under a very compressed time frame with new legislation to comply with and all kinds of pressures. So just really appreciate the time and energy that you have put into this and the energy and teamwork and collaboration. So thank you.
Amendment to, next item, amendment to interlocal government joint use and lease agreement. This is Mr. Campbell and Barry Pace. Are there questions for these gentlemen from the board?
I would just ask Mr. Campbell if you could kind of give us a elevator speech, just kind of a synopsis of what we're doing here.
Certainly, yes. As part of the program that you have over at AB Tech, you use the Birch Building as part of that middle college program to do, I believe it is science, isn't it, Mr. Pace? Science classrooms. Back in 2008, you entered into a joint use agreement with AB Tech to improve that space so that it could be used for the students. Now, as part of your comprehensive security overview of all Buncombe County schools, you're doing significant security upgrades to that space. The general statutes allow you to enter into an agreement with the community college for joint use. The statutes also allow you to improve property as long as you're leasing it. So you do have a lease with AB Tech that dates back to 2008, and now you are agreeing with AB Tech to expend additional dollars. The contract clearly states that I believe the first 3 items are going to be split in terms of cost, and Buncombe County Schools will pick up the last 2 items as part of the security upgrades that you're doing for all of your campuses. The AB Tech Board of Trustees considered this agreement at their meeting on Monday, and it passed unanimously with appreciation from that board. They're completely in favor and appreciate you doing the security upgrades for the school-age children on their campus.
But is there any difference in terms of the agreement itself, or are we just referencing this, the security upgrades?
Good question. The agreement has not changed.
Okay.
All we're doing is memorializing exactly what the upgrades are and who will be paying for them.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So the lease, in terms of the lease amount, that has not changed either?
That's correct, and I don't know, I'll have to go back and look at the 2008 agreement, but I don't think we pay any fees to AB Tech.
I don't think we do either.
I didn't think so.
Any other questions for these people? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. We will vote now. Pat Bryant?
Aye.
Amy Churchill?
Aye.
Amanda Simpkins?
Aye.
Max Queen?
Aye.
Cindy McMahon?
Aye.
Peggy Buchanan?
Aye.
Ann Franklin. It's now time for the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have the minutes from the April 1st, 2021 regular meeting. We have the personnel report with an addendum, contract extension for one-to-one student device refresh system-wide, approval of board member training credits, community high school alternative accountability model participation, policies for second reading, 7335, employee social media, 7560, permitted salary deductions and absences and discipline of exempt employees, 7620, payroll deductions, 8510, school finance officer, and I would need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Pat Bryant?
Aye.
Amy Churchill?
Aye.
Amanda Simpkins?
Aye.
Max Queen?
Aye.
Cindy McMahon.
Aye.
Peggy Buchanan.
Aye.
And Franklin. We have received today more information than anyone would ever believe, as quality as it was. And I'd like to let you know that our next meeting will be held June the 3rd with work session updates and closed session beginning at 4 and in the Bowcatcher room. And then our main meeting will be here in the Minotaurium at 5:30. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Could I get a second?
Second.
Bryant.
Aye.
Amy Churchill.
Aye.
Amanda Simpkins.
Aye.
Max Queen.
Aye.
Cindy McMahon.
Aye.
Peggy Buchanan.
Aye.
And Franklin. We are adjourned.
One.